About a month ago, Sturgis Hospital closed, and Oaklawn Hospital closed departments in Marshall. What happened? Hi, I'm Eric Leo. I'm a philosopher, sociologist, author, and hip-hop artist who goes by Eric Leo 108. I live in Southwest Michigan. I suffer from schizoaffective disorder and live on disability. Despite this, I have a degree in sociology. I have written 10 books. I have released over 250 tracks, and I run about 10 blogs. I undoubtedly outwork the industry at a level most artists can't achieve, manage, or maintain. And I still can't afford groceries, and I depend on my disability check. The United States is the wealthiest nation ever. Republicans and the wealthy congratulate themselves on creating abundance, but housing, education, childcare, and healthcare are all unaffordable for average Americans. 60% live paycheck to paycheck. So how did we get here? Where the government can't pay for domestic necessities, but will give a blank check for a war in Iraq without any plan or justification, that has only succeeded in making life more unaffordable. Well, let's start with the myth of the American dream, using my life as an example. The truth is, I did everything right. The only thing that happened was I got sick. You can read about my journey in my book, 108, The Story of Discovering Earth's Consciousness. My health has since recovered and been stable for about a decade, and despite outworking the industry, I still can't afford to move out of Section 8 housing or even afford groceries. What it really comes down to is my labor power is exploited for healthcare because the United States does not have universal single-payer healthcare. The reality of it is that the disability system is a poverty trap, especially because minimum wage is not a living wage. It gives me no pleasure to have to tell you these things. Although I would be happy to do one, I won't take a normal job because of the economic conditions America creates. If I make over about $1,200 per month consistently through employment, I can lose my health care. And because minimum wage is not a living wage and living in America is unaffordable, I would struggle to afford to pay for necessities and my medication. So I can either stay on disability, live in poverty, and be able to get my medication, or I could work, not be able to afford to live, and not be able to afford my medication. That's the reality of living in America. The disability system is convoluted and purposefully obtuse, where you are limited on earned income but can make unlimited unearned income like business profits, royalties, and capital gains. The problem is that it takes money to make money. So I can't get a job to better my situation, and a business costs money to invest in. I'm priced out of investing in a house, and education is a death sentence. So disability is a poverty trap. I got into graduate school at Western Michigan University for a master's degree in sociology, but I cannot afford to go. I have an LLC for my record label, and I make a couple to a few $1,000s every year. But in business, it all comes down to money for marketing, and I can't afford the education or paid ads to break out of the trap. I can't get a loan from a bank because most banks don't give out small loans, period. And I don't have enough income to justify the loan. My disability check is so small that I qualify for SSI, and I can't just get a job, as we discussed. I have to run everything online because I can't afford venues or networking. In general, people enjoy my music and books. It's just that no one knows I exist. It always comes back to the same thing. I don't have an audience. Getting one requires marketing, and marketing costs money. When it really comes down to it, I know what I need to do. I just can't afford it. And I can't get the money to be able to afford it. The U.S. demands that you contribute economically or you're treated as less when you aren't given the means. What's worse is that the wealthy changed the rules so someone like me can't prosper due to Republican economic policy. I have tried for years to get help. I have filled out multiple grants. Opportunity usually comes down to geography and your network. And the small town I ended up in doesn't have an industry to support what I do. And I've been on a waiting list to move to the Kalamazoo area that would bring me an advantage for at least 4 years. There is essentially no opportunity. And it shouldn't take me 250 tracks and 10 books to just make it, let alone still not be able to afford groceries. I talk about the economic conditions and the position the average American is in my book, The American Nightmare Project. Hard work, no money, and why the U.S. is unlivable. I am a true American. I was raised in Sturgis, Michigan. I went to Grand Valley State University and Eastern Michigan University. I make the best out of my circumstances, don't make excuses, and work extraordinarily hard. I am one of you, America. Bred, born, raised, live, work, and contribute. And you know what I've learned and accepted about you? You're a piece of dog shit, America. The American dream is dead. Community is transactional. Hard work does not pay off. And just because you ask for help doesn't mean you're going to get it. We've totally lost the plot and point of society and the social contract. America is not great, especially if you don't have money. And if you're poor, you can't even enjoy the country because everything costs money to experience. You're like an abusive parent who changes the rules and the environment so its members can't make it, let alone thrive, and then you blame them for the conditions you created when it's your fault. Then you want all the reward without the investment or responsibility and without making those who really benefit pay the true costs. What a piece of dog shit. Here's the real American dream. I invested in an IRA at 18. I put $500 into mutual funds and planned to contribute when I had a steady job. Well, a stable job never came because I got sick and then couldn't keep my health care and work a job. Then I pulled out the $1,500 I had a couple years ago after 15 years because I can't have over $2,000 in my bank account and keep getting food stamps. What a dream. They say America is great because you can turn what you love into a career. Bullshit. That's only for Nepo babies now. Otherwise, you won't be able to afford marketing to get the opportunity. I have been doing hip-hop since 2009 and writing books since 2020, and I have never received one iota of meaningful opportunity. All I want to know is, do you want to go, America? The United States is a third world country with a Gucci belt. You want to go, America? I can't just get a job because of privatized healthcare. You want to go, America? The United States is not a civilized society. You want to go, America? I know from personal experience that the United States is where dreams go to die. This is your fault, and you forced me into this. You want to go, America? I'm just kidding, America. You know I love you. But seriously, you want to go? Sturgis Hospital is shutting down, and parts of Oaklawn are shutting down in Marshall because hospitals plan years ahead and are probably anticipating the effect of Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. Now the wound clinic, pulmonology, and asthma allergy are shutting down. Trump knew that this would affect rural hospitals, which is why he opened a $50 billion fund for these hospitals. But just like with everything Trump does, it will be wholly inadequate. This is a microcosm of Republican economic policy, which has been designed to strip the political and economic representation from the average American and leave them without and burdened. Buying elections, gerrymandering, insider trading, and quid pro quo deals all go unregulated and unpunished. This isn't a symptom, but a feature of Republican policy, and it has been happening for decades. If we're being honest, The problem is that America has a laissez-faire approach to business and puts money over people, while life is unaffordable because we've made commodities asset classes that are designed to benefit the ultra-rich at the expense of the people and the environment. The truth is, billionaires are freeloaders who never earn their money. They extract labor. And they never pay their taxes or the true cost to the environment or society, while being unable to recognize reality and take responsibility. So they are monsters, a leech, and a burden to society. The result of this is a stratified social structure where billionaires benefit from inequality at the expense of the people and the working class. This was all designed on purpose to give the Epstein class control of the political, financial, and economic systems and force Americans into exploitative positions. I have outlined and defended all this while explaining how it functions in my book, Farming Humans: American Equality and Profit Over People in the Age of Oligarchy. Whereas the American Nightmare Project is a zoom in of conditions and lives of average Americans, Farming Humans is a zoom out of the system, how it functions, and how money and power flows to the top. When it really comes down to it, I'm not really mad at America. What I really want to say is, to all the MAGA Republicans and billionaires, you pieces of dog. This is your fault, and the fact you won't recognize reality and take responsibility is the problem. I and the American people are not your punching bag or rag doll. We do not forgive, we do not forget, and we will see justice, so expect us. Even when I make it, I'm going to rub my shit in your face about how your public and economic policy is dog shit. It shouldn't take decades to make it working at a professional and prodigious level. I did everything right. I shouldn't be burdened with no help or opportunity. You're wasting my life and genius and the genius of your people, America, all to cause rampant inequality that breaks down the fabric of society and contributes to carbon pollution that destroys the environment just for more accounting digits on a computer. America trades real wealth, the environment, like clean air and water and livable cities, to be economically oppressed by billionaires who live better than kings at the expense of the people. This is what makes you breathtakingly stupid, America. And in all honesty, I'm tired of suffering because you're so incompetent, exploitative, apathetic, and too stupid to vote and defend your own interests. I write about this in my books, but I don't have the marketing money to reach you. So whose fault is it that you don't know, comprehend, or understand? I can't tell you how much I have to fight the feelings of absolutely hating you, America. It's not my fault. It's only natural. You would hate the country too if you were by the system as much as I have been, while being told it's great and it's your fault you haven't made it. The only thing that stops me from making music straight up calling America a piece of dog shit is that you'll blame me, because America blames the poor for the economic conditions and the environment the wealthy have created. But I'm starting not to care. In all honesty, reward works better than punishment, but I don't have the resources to reward you, so it's fuck you. Whose fault is it that you fed me lies and constrained my economic condition to the point it's fuck you and I want revenge? So when you get upset because I'm making work that is pejorative to change things, no, I don't give a fuck. Just like you don't give a fuck, I can't make it despite working at a level most artists and authors couldn't handle or achieve. I'm not in the wrong. I'm not changing. Society is wrong. Society needs to change. And as a sociologist MC, I will make you regret putting me in this position where I had to get vicious. I could have told you with authority, but you won't pay for my college. I could have explained everything and told you nicely, but you don't know about or read my books. I could have told you with love, but you don't buy my records. So when I tell you with hate and malice, know it's on you. In actuality, I don't love being the villain, But that's what you've made me, America. I will change when society changes. Until then, I will continue to call America a piece of dog shit until minimum wage is a living wage, we have universal single-payer healthcare, and college is free. We're not the greatest country in the world without those things that other peer nations with better objective measures offer. In other words, as long as you keep congratulating billionaires for making more money while mothers with infants can't afford to feed them despite working full-time due to Republican-led economic policy, I'm going to call you a piece of dog shit. And when your local hospital shuts down, I'll tell you that healthcare is broken, America's priorities are whack, I'll point to how you voted for this, you deserve it if you're MAGA, and point to this video about how I've been fed up. Thanks for watching.